Alexander. The bump for contact. Williams pitched it outside. Wallace at the three. Harper packed to the basket. Holmgren steps up and blocks the shot. Got numbers. Does it on that end. Holmgren runs the floor. Anxious fans want to see a shot go up. Wallace going to do it again. He did. Wanyama sends a shot. Fox takes the corner. Snakes his way back. Pitch it out for Sell. Champion. Let it up. Mid-range. Short. One remaining. Jalen Williams. Got to jack one up. Got to be somebody. And Wallace again. Off on the three. Jack hitting the rebound. 8 seconds left. Fox has it. Ahead to Vassell, who goes in for the dunk. And the San Antonio Spurs have done it.
All right. Hope everybody got to see the game last night. That was a little cut from the Spurs winning Game 7, which I'm pretty happy about. And I don't know if you caught, Abe, the 1999 reference in there with the Prince song in the background.
Yeah, great stuff, man. Brings me back to that era.
Yes, and we're going to have the same matchup as in 1999, and I think the same result. We'll talk about that. This is the Holy Toledo Show, brought to you by Chabner Law, serving Southern California's business and transactional legal needs, as well as estate planning, and by Chab Dog Sports Blog for your head of your sports headlines and biting sports commentary. I'm the host, Brandon Chabner, and this is under the umbrella of Chab Dog Sports Talk. Every Sunday we have a show. Today we got a great show for you. We got a special guest, Mark Deazeley, the Diesel, right? Is that what they called you, Mark?
That's correct. Yep.
Tried to get your name pretty close. I may have butchered it a little bit, but you have an interesting background. We'll look forward to talking hockey with you, and thank you for being on. And then we've got 3 co-hosts on the show today. May have 4 if Dorothy keeps her word and logs in. She said she was going to log in. So we got Abe Miranda in the middle, my producer. Good to see you, Abe.
Yes, as always, it's always a spectacular time to be here with all of our friends and on Sunday mornings, and so it's always fun to have a little coffee and Chab Dog Sports to finish out the weekend.
And it just goes so smoothly when you're involved. Like when I do it without you, it's always a trip through the wilderness.
We're getting there though.
Yeah. Had Brian on with me last week. Brian Keller, thank you for being on, Brian, and your consistency is much appreciated. I do like to have somebody to talk to,
My pleasure. I like
yes, Brian runs the Sports Rock site, Mark, and if you ever want a good laugh, you check that one out. He has a lot of good terrific information. He pays attention to birthdays very carefully. So
okay,
he's probably going to want to find out when your birthday was.
Well, it was April 8th, 72. So
April 8th. So he sounds like he's a Taurus. Are you a Taurus?
No, I'm an Aries.
Oh,
an Aries. Aries. Oh, that's right. My wife's a Taurus. Taurus is May. Aries are usually April. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Aries are wild cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We sometimes have short fuses. So
yes, they're fiery.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, we'll see some of that fire in some of these clips. And we got Bo Jeffcoat, who's all plugged in and ready to go. Nice to see you, Bo.
Well, I'm really hurt because Gabby's never asked me my birthday. And maybe it's because we didn't keep birth records back when I was born.
Now's your opportunity.
You don't have a birth certificate? What do you mean?
Well, in Mississippi, we're a little bit behind, but I was known, Mark was known as the Diesel. I was known as the Butthole, and I used that term nicely.
What did he say? The
Butthole, but really it was a-hole. But I got thrown out of more as a coach, I got thrown out of more games than probably the average human being, you know. But I'm a
Okay.
Pisces, Gabby, so I'm very mild mannered and sweet and gentle and all those things.
I bet you
But
are.
God, but God forbid somebody steals your parking spot at Home Depot.
I'll kill him.
Insults Mississippi. Can't have that. I wanted to start out with we can play a Mark Deazeley clip here, a Deazeley clip. See, I'm already getting the name a little.
7 pounds.
Okay, here we go.
He was an imposing figure on the ice. When Mark Deazeley, the Diesel, arrived, he arrived with authority.
Driven off the puck that time by Deazeley.
You know, everyone called him the Diesel. That's what the fans would chant, Diesel, Diesel. And a lot of the fans back then saw him for what he was, big and big bruising, you know, a lot of penalty minutes, but he was also a very gifted hockey player.
He was the Gordie Howe of the ECHL. I mean, he was a big, powerful body, could protect pucks, could dig for pucks. Because of his size and strength, could get into areas to score goals, and he was very good at scoring goals. But he can rearrange your face at a blink of an eye. He could play, and then the goal-scoring ability that he had and his willingness to fight. You know, he was the perfect player for Toledo hockey.
He's perhaps best known, Game 6, 1993, Toledo Sports Arena against the Wheeling Thunderbirds.
Winning 5-2, third period. We get into a little bit of penalty trouble. They tie it up, and it was just like you went from such a high to a letdown, and then it's just like you're just hoping.
Takes a bit of a dive as Al Roberts now will carry it out as Toledo comes on a 3-on-2. Duncan, Roberts, and Hicks. Duncan back to Roberts now. Duncan out on top. Deazeley scores! The Storm win the Riley Cup! The Storm win the Riley Cup! It's over!
Mark Deazeley scores the winning goal in the second overtime, and the sports arena, which is packed to the gills, way above fire code capacity, just erupts. Toledo wins its first hockey championship since 1983 with the old Gold Diggers in the IHL.
What a great setup. You know, you win in a game, you let them tie it, and you go to double overtime and win in, you know, double overtime.
Mark Deazeley.
I had to do the Ned Braden here.
Toledo after that 1993 season.
The full Monty.
Yeah.
He comes back.
Not quite, but enough.
Better. Mark Deazeley scores 16 goals in 14 Riley Cup playoff games. It is still, in the history of the ECHL, the second highest goal total in a playoff run by any player in the history, the more than 25-year history of the ECHL. Mark was so proficient and so good during that playoff time period, he was signed to an NHL contract by the Winnipeg Jets.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that Michigan accent I hear in the people commentating on that show.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence, Dorothy. Nice to see you.
Thank you. So good to see you.
We have to mix some other chromosomes in here. I think it's time. We have enough guys.
Yeah. Thank you for joining today's sausage party. We're really grateful. You're here. Thank you.
Love a good sausage party.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Mark, Dorothy is from the Midwest, and she's hails from Michigan, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the name, Detroit Dorothy.
Mark's from Ontario. Is that right? Is that where you're born?
I'm from Toronto, Canada. So I've spent some time in Windsor when I was playing with the Oshawa Generals in the OHL. We'd always play a few games in Windsor, going across the border. Toledo's really close to Detroit, so I've spent some time in Toledo. Spent some time in Detroit. Windsor is famous for they got their casino there, and when we were on the road, it was the first strip club I was ever taken to. So
Yep. That's where all my
I don't know if Jason's is still open in Windsor, but anyway, it was
Wow.
first time experience for me. That so Windsor always stick out in my head.
Yep. Toronto is where I went for my 6th grade field trip. That's where we went in Michigan.
Okay.
Sounds a little like Tijuana or something.
Yeah, the open borders
You gotta
there.
go there.
Oh,
Experience the local attractions.
the dudes in my high school, as soon as they turned 18, they went to Windsor so they could go to the strip club. And I guess there was a girl with a chest as big as basketballs that they couldn't stop talking about. It's like,
Good God.
Yes, Windsor.
All right.
I was like, oh my goodness.
It's a family show. I thought we were going to be talking about basketball, not that.
Well, we technically are talking about basketballs.
Yeah. Let's talk first about hockey pucks. So, you look like the kind of guy that would just be hard to move from a spot, and maybe that was part of your success was people were either afraid to hit you or they were unable to move you, and you got position and you had a nice quick shot. Is that kind of a good way to describe it?
Yeah, I mean the large majority of goals are scored. Their diameter around the net. They're close to the net, probably like 50%. And we can kind of all tie this in together. When I grew up playing hockey, unfortunately, my father really emphasized to him like the only thing that was important was scoring a goal. And that's simply not true in hockey. But a lot of parents, and especially my father, are like, well, if you're not scoring goals, you're not a good player. And there is some truth to that to an extent. I mean, you should be able to, contribute offensively. You're moving the puck. You're getting involved in the play. You're getting close to the net. You're getting shots on net. You're creating plays, and that should result in a player getting points. But there's a lot more to the game, to hockey than scoring points. And the higher you go up, the more specialized you'll become. So being 6'4", 235 pounds, fully grown at age 17, I unfortunately didn't have the speed, and that was the knock against me to getting up to the National Hockey League. But I learned to score goals to appease my father, because if I didn't score goals, there was absolute hell to pay. I mean, just hell.
My God. Oh.
My game resulted or turned into being really good around the net. So I became really kind of more focused on scoring goals, which my passing game wasn't as good as it should have been. As a kid, when 8, 9 years old, they'd have that term like you're called a goal suck. Or a cherry picker, because you just want to score goals. But a lot of that happens because of parents' influence, because they don't understand the game very well. But I mean, as far as hockey, I mean, yeah, getting in front of the net. I always have a joke. I say they always put all the talented players on the power play, and then the guy that can block the goalie's view. So that's the only reason I got on the power play, and I just stand there in front of the net. Create havoc, and there would just be a lot. The goalie would save the first shot, and I'd just turn around. There'd be a rebound there, and I would just put it in. We would call it a can of corn. So just scoring cans of corn. But yeah, that was my game in a nutshell.
You must have good hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, I do. I have as a friend of mine, Ian Duncan, who I played hockey with, great hockey player. Great hands, lousy feet. If my feet were as quick as my hands, I would have had a 10-year NHL career, but it just wasn't meant to be. So,
yeah, no, you'd be good at. I think you'd be good at first base like me. I'm kind of like that. I've got a really good hand, so I can catch anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like Did you see that clip from Animal House when flounders catch everything they're throwing at them in the store?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of me, and I like playing goalie. That's actually my spot.
Okay.
But
Well, it takes a special kind of crazy to want to be a goalie. So,
you know, speaking of, well, before anything, I was actually in Toronto, and I went to the Hockey Hall of Fame a few years ago with my brother, and a beautiful Hall of Fame, which is wild. That's like inside a bank kind of thing. It's such a wild Hall of Fame, and then they had a goalie simulator where you could stand in a net and they would shoot these foam pucks at you, and they had like 3 different difficulties: medium, or easy, medium, hard kind of level. So I got up there, I put it on easy, thinking that, oh, I got this. I don't think I got one foamy puck. Every foamy puck, man, got like flew by me. And then I realized, this isn't as easy as people think it is. I mean, having a puck that like disappears on, you're wearing a mask, and then it's going 90, plus miles an hour. I'm like, good luck, trying to catch these things sometimes. So, shout out to them goalies. But also, Mark, I did want to bring up, you have a book. You've written a book called The Long Car Ride Home, which I see that you can buy this on Amazon.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody should buy it. Yes.
What's your book here about?
So, part of my story growing up playing hockey, and my father's still alive. It happened to my brother too, but it was a very extremely verbally abusive, toxic relationship between my father and myself. So I was never beaten, but after hockey games, if my father deemed I didn't play well, it was, and especially sometimes, talking about Windsor or like Troy, Michigan, there would be a lot of, there'd be a lot of tournaments. And there'd be a difference between a car ride home that from a home rink that's 20 minutes away and then a 4-hour drive home. And I don't remember a lot of my youth hockey career because of that, because I've blocked it out. But
oh goodness,
extreme verbal abuse over many years will take its toll. So I wrote about my experiences, and I did research. This is basically an awareness book, and it's basically, I classify, there's 6 types of narcissistic parents, all the way from just ones that are just neglectful to ones that are toxic, and the psychological damage they can do to their children. And then if this happens to you, here are some things you can do to help fix yourself. But from my experience and then coaching youth hockey, a large majority, I can pick out the narcissistic parents like that, and I know what that's going to happen to their children. But just trying to go up to a narcissist and say, hey, read my book, you're a narcissistic a-hole and you're doing some severe damage to your children. Like, hello, McFly, and it doesn't register. So I want to do a follow-up book, and kind of my joke is I'm going to have to write a children's book, because trying to talk to the parents is 100% useless, absolutely useless. So, and a lot of these parents that I see, they think, oh, my kid's going to go play in the show, and they won't show up to practice. Or when I get them to do wall sits, they'll start whining and complaining, saying, oh, wall sits are unnatural. And I'm like, I'd actually get the kids to write something to me saying why they're playing hockey. And they all would say, I want to play in the NHL. I'm like, okay, well, there's a severe price to that as well. And I kind of make that out in my book. I mean, if you're marginally talented and you make it to the NHL and have a long career, I'll show you a guy that's got a screw loose. And I mean that in a positive way. It just takes a special kind of breed to consistently train, consistently take abuse, consistently take beatings, consistently take heartache and rejection to play in the National Hockey League. And then if you're that kind of player, you might have 100 to 200 games and then it's over. You know, like the game is, you know, the Sidney Crosbys and the Ovechkins and the Wayne Gretzkys and the Mario Lemieux, the people that you see in that beautiful Hockey Hall of Fame. I mean, those are the success stories. But for every one of those, there's 1,000 plus players that came close, or they're just missing something, or they had to fight their way and be a fighter to play. Like if I wasn't willing to fight, I wouldn't have gone as far as I did. And I always felt there was something inherently wrong with that. I mean, sitting there and trading blows to the head is a barbaric form of fighting. You know, like that's why I kind of like boxing. I mean, it's like the sweet science. You're ducking, you're moving, you're trying not to get hit. You know, hockey players are, let's tag up and just punch each other in the face till one of us quits. I mean, that's going to do some damage in the long run. And I could list a bunch of hockey players that are now dead because that's what they did. So
I was going to ask you, Mark, is that something that they tried to instill on you or tried to push you toward because of your size?
I didn't have a choice. I mean, being 6'4", 235 pounds at 17, that's what I was picked up to do. I mean, I got a chance to play, but it was made very clear to me that my job is to fight. And if someone messes with one of our players, I get the tap on the shoulder and I got to take care of business. And I know a lot of people like they cheer and they love that part of the game. But I'll tell you, for the guys that actually do it, when you're taking your pregame nap at noon, and you know it's 7:30, 8 o'clock, you're going to be fighting some animal in front of 5,000 people. Well, let's just say you're not going to have a pregame. You're not going to sleep very well. So your nerves are going to be going, and it's a tough job. It's a really tough job.
Well,
But it keeps you in the show, right, Mark?
I'm sorry?
It keeps you in the show.
Well, you learn how to fight by getting your head kicked in. That's how you learn how to fight. I mean, my first fight was with Brad May, Sugar Ray Brad May. It didn't go very well. But after you take some beatings and then you kind of learn and then you practice, and a lot of it's grabbing the jersey and grabbing the right spot, switching hands, kind of. I would always try and protect my head. I wasn't one of those fighters that was going to just trade blows because I wanted to, not have CTE in the future. I wanted to be able to have a conversation like I am with you guys now. And some hockey players are going to find that really difficult in the future.
Well, I don't want to brag, but I am from the hockey capital of America, in Mississippi.
Yeah, right.
And I never heard the term hockey until I was probably 18. I was in Vietnam with some guys that were from up north, like Michigan and Canada. I used to get drunk with a bunch of guys from Canada, so it was kind of a new experience. But my wife does not like sports, period. And I never watch sports here on TV unless my son's here. But I took her to a Dallas Stars game, and there was a fight, and she got out of her seat and said, "Hit him!" So I mean, she got charged up.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess people pay for that to see that.
Yeah.
They do, and they expect it, and it's part of the game. I mean, it's like a gray area in terms of what's a penalty, what's not, and what's allowed. And
It's a little less than it used to be. I'll say that it's less than it used to be.
Well, one thing. One thing I've noticed too is, sometimes when you see practice, you see hockey teams are practicing on the ice. I've seen this with some practice sessions. The guys will get out there and actually practice fighting. How to grab the jersey, just like what Mark's talking about. I mean, there's a technique. It's a different kind of fighting style when you think about. You got a guy with a whole bunch of pads on. You're on the ice.
On skates. You're on skates,
right? It's like a whole different dynamic of fighting that can easily rock you onto the ground. Because you're on skates, and that whole dynamic is so different. Also, kind of dangerous because you just sometimes don't know where those skates are going to end up. And you get a little close, and yeah, it's a spectacle. But the nice thing is we have Mark here to kind of show us a little bit of behind the scenes of what these hockey players who have what they have to go through to be mentally prepared for that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you, Mark, sharing your experience with us and letting us know how that is from your perspective, because I think a lot of times people don't understand how much goes into it, and so thank you, Mark, for sharing.
It ties into this clip I have here of who died recently was Claude Lemieux, and he took his own life. Nobody really has explained why it happened, because he seemed like he was happy. He was at the Canadian ceremony and the playoffs, and had a nice business going. But this is a guy that had a ton of penalty minutes. He was known for fighting, and he was a successful player. But he had this other part of him, which was constant battles. This shows he destroyed Chris Draper here. This was in 1996. In this, you'll probably comment on this, Mark.
Yeah, I've seen that before, and I've actually met Chris Draper, and I know him a little bit more through a friend of mine.
Dumping it into the corner, it's around the net for a point. Gusarov has him well covered. Red Wings have 3 in.
The checking is probably what initiates all that.
And they're playing the Red Wings. Yay.
Yes. Oh, that was it right there. Yeah.
That part of the game called the checking seems to really get the guys riled up.
Yeah, and it's not so much that everyone thinks. I'll tell you something a little bit about fighting. I mean, when you see the guys get punched, yeah, it's bare knuckle fighting or MMA fighting, as described to me, is going to do more damage on the outside. And I was actually going to take boxing lessons, or I do take boxing lessons. I was going to hire a different boxer, and I was like, well, I'd rather, if I was going to get into a fight now, I'd rather have boxing gloves on because that's safer. And he actually said no. He said the boxing gloves do more damage to the inside of your brain. So they're going to get banged up. They're going to have black eyes, but nothing like an MMA fight, right? So, and a lot of these guys are what I call bucket heads too. I mean, they got a Homer Simpson syndrome. You could take a 2x4 and smash them over the head, and they're not going to feel that much, So, but that not to say that people that would fight, or it would be the open ice hits. That's where I was going with this. You look at Eric Lindros. That's where you're going to have concussion problems, CTE in the future, are guys that really got rocked, the guys that would keep their heads down and get hit. And someone like Lindros, he could do that in junior because he was so much bigger than everybody. But a lot of the open ice hitting, direct hitting, in my opinion, is going to cause a lot of the concussion problems. I heard something happened to Claude Lemieux. I didn't know he took his own life. I mean, that's terrible. A guy I played hockey against, Chris Simon, did the same. And that's something I talked about earlier. I always felt that this is going to, if I go down this road, it's going to end badly. And I had the opportunity Like if I wanted to play in the National Hockey League, I would have to get on steroids and take boxing lessons and just become a sick animal. That was the only way I was going to do that. And I did that to a point, but kind of not all the way, because and once you start taking punches in the head and fighting against guys at that level that are trying to stay up there, which, by the way, the fastest way into the NHL is a tough guy. The fastest way out of the NHL is being a tough guy. So like once you get beat and there's someone tougher than you are, and there's always somebody coming up that's going to be bigger and tougher than you are, then you're gone. And hockey, like I talked about as well, for the most part, the game's just going to chew these players up and spit them out when they're done. And then that's it. And then it's over. Yeah, and I talk a little bit about that in my book as well. Like if you get addicted to the roar of the crowd, you know, when people would chant my name, I'd be in a fight and they'd be going, Diesel, Diesel, Diesel. If you've ever had 5,000 people chant your name, and then after hockey's over and you want to try and find that high again, you'll never find it. Never. And that's what I think a lot of these players end up doing, because, well, what can make me feel that good, right? Mm-hmm. And we all know where we're going with this, and then it's going to end up leading to drugs and alcohol, and that's going to happen to a lot of these players that don't have these story-like careers. And I talk about that in my book, and I'm not surprised the more I think about it. When I asked youth sports clubs to promote my book, they had no interest, because they don't really want parents knowing what could potentially happen to their kids if they go on and make it. So there's always going to be consequences. It's like, that saying, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
Yeah.
So, it goes across all sports too, actually. Yeah.
See, hockey to me is like football, and the thing that I see is there's a lot of violence, the hitting, and my favorite thing is football prepares you for life, because you get knocked down and you have to get up, and the same can be said about hockey. Now, that being violent like it is, I feel quite sure that there's a bunch of players that are leaving, and with the aches and pains and joint dislocations and broken bones and arthritic conditions that can make them or position them to be drug addicts. Like, a good example, Brett Favre out of Kiel, Mississippi. He was hooked on oxycodone.
Mm-hmm.
Mark makes a good point. There's a story of a football player named Todd Marinovich. Raised as a child, during his youth, he was just manufactured to be a quarterback.
USC.
Yeah. His dad
Once he got to be an adult on his own, money, stuff, he just went crazy. He just became a wild man.
Well, he could buy weed on his own.
Yeah.
There is one there in hockey, though. There's a group of very successful hockey players and one in particular who was pretty violent, pretty aggressive, but he was also revered and respected. And who I'm talking about, right? Gordie Howe. And that guy seemed like he had eyes in the back of his head, because he'd like, people would come at him and he'd move a certain way and people would miss him. And not only you might get the best of him in one fight, but they said that he remembered everything and he always got even.
Yeah.
And,
my father always said there's enough rules in the game to get somebody back, and you don't have to get them back like with a retaliation, because they get an instant retaliation. Yeah. You're gonna take a penalty and put your team down a man, which could cost your team. Take a number, remember him, and the next time he's skating down the ice with his head down, then go finish him off. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Hockey definitely allows that, but I mean, I think you're going to find more and more as these professional hockey players start dying, and they can donate their brains to science, you're going to find a lot of them, I think, are going to have some sort of a CTE, some type of brain damage, or if they've, and like you say, I mean, doctors, and especially to bigger players. I mean, you could go to your doctor and say, like, come on, I need a little bit more Oxy or Vicodin or whatever, and it only takes 4 or 5 days, and then when the script runs out and you've got that taste, that craving, you're going to go out in the street, and before you know it, you're a heroin addict. It's happened to many hockey players. It happened to me. I ended up beating it. I've been 6-7 years clean from that. But it's a real problem.
Goodness.
My son played college football in the SEC, and I can tell you that everybody knew that there was a player on that team, and they called him the bag man. And he had testosterone and all kinds of things that players could buy, so they could get bigger and stronger and faster and whatever you want to call it. And it wasn't any secret who that guy was. But before I kind of pleasantly I'm trying to shut up because what you're talking about is very interesting, I think. But you really had nice hair when you were younger, Mark.
I did.
Somewhere it left you. And
That's
trust
where
me,
we go. You never know which direction this show is going to go. That's the fun of this show.
Bo, you have really nice hair too. Why don't you take off your hat and let everybody see your hair?
Well, I didn't wash it or
you got hair there.
style it today. Now, Gabby and Mark look like twin brothers to me. But there you go. There you go.
Slightly different eras. I think Mark's in.
He's from the 70s. I'm from the 50s.
You could
Well,
be.
so was I.
Brian's little brother, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, Mark's I think said was born in 72,
Yes.
and my oldest son was born in 70. So Mark is old enough to be my son.
I'm 75. Mark, you might be interested to know
No, I'm
that
75.
Mark, you might be interested to know that I threw an octopus on the arena in
My God.
Detroit versus Anaheim. I was yeah, so that was a rush. That's
An
rush.
actual octopus, or just like a play octopus? It was
No,
fake,
real,
right?
real. In Irvine, there's a ethnic market. You can buy all kinds of stuff. I bought an octopus, smuggled it in. I had a moon boot, a Detroit Red Wings moon boot with fur on it. And actually, I didn't throw it. My girl that's going to be my maid of honor in our wedding threw it. She's from Michigan as well. But it was a rush sneaking it in. Like,
You snuck an octopus in your boot?
Yeah, my moon boot. Yeah, I had Detroit Red Wings moon boots with fur. And
well, at least the octopus got a little, he got a little happy ride before he got thrown out,
Well, their tentacles are full of suckers.
Got to ride the moon boot for a little bit.
Yeah.
The octopus. Not bad. Not bad way to go out.
It was a rush. It
Good
was
for it.
one of
Hey,
my.
Cat Dog, this is going downhill quick. There's all kind of things I could say.
All right, well, let's go to a little
you.
mini break. I'm going to play a clip, and then we'll come back on the other side and talk a little basketball and maybe some baseball if we have a few minutes. And we'll finish up with a few more questions from Mark. Okay.
That'd be great because I lost $20 on Oakland last night, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Lanesville on either side, and Caldwell Jones takes it low. Larry Keenan, he's heard from for the first time in the first quarter.
Section 107 of the Copyright Act.
Deeks takes a look. Switch off on Keenan.
When the
Here's
NBA had
Dawkins.
short shorts.
And Daryl Dawkins goes up and over the San Antonio defense and brings Philadelphia back to within 5. Surveys the field down court now. Looks to settle things down. They have the 2 big 7-foot centers playing 20 feet in the basket. Dawkins hit it. Basketball now. He's actually in his 3rd year.
He's averaging 9 points in this playoff, and he's got 8 already here in the opening quarter.
Daryl Dawkins forces a shot.
Chocolate Thunder,
makes
baby.
it work again for Philadelphia. But all he's got in the second half is 3 free throws. He's not hit a field goal. Dawkins wants to go up. Oberding, but the 76ers save the ball. Blocked by Pulse. Money retained.
Oh, the yo-yo dunk.
By Pulse on Money. Got it back. Left-handed yo-yo dunk. Look at that one.
He went inside, got an offensive rebound, and put it back up to break a tie. Now Green shoots. Dawkins rejects. 76-67, Philadelphia trailing. San Antonio with the ball. Oberding down low, gets it to Keenan, loses his man with a fake. Dawkins rejects.
That could have been 2 points for San Antonio. And here comes Philadelphia right back in the game.
Philadelphia starts to move it now. Keenan waits again. He is rejected by Dawkins.
Daryl Dawkins has been unbelievable. That last block was his 3rd straight.
And Dawkins has begun to dominate in the offense down inside. That's what he does business.
Big man's game.
Isn't he? Irving lost the game.
Oh.
Comes off the play.
Wow. I
That's
didn't know
physical
San
basketball.
Antonio had a team back then.
Okay, well, here's a trivia question for you. Was San Antonio, was that a playoff game? And if so, why? Because I thought San Antonio was in the West, and that was not the finals. That was like the semifinals of the East. How did that happen?
Yeah.
But it's actually the ABA merged with the NBA, and then the first 4 years of that, San Antonio was in the East. It was like Dallas Cowboys in NFC East. You know, weird but true.
Yeah.
But Daryl Dawkins was an example of a guy that was very violent, and he played violently, and he did well for a while, but he couldn't keep it together. And I don't know, but he had a very famous fight. Did you ever see that fight, Mark, in the NBA Finals?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he fought Maurice Lucas because he was the biggest guy on the block, Daryl Dawkins, pretty much, but Lucas, they were boxing. That was like a boxing match a little bit. We showed it, but it started because he ripped a rebound from this kind of small white guy, and the guy just flew off of him and crashed into the ground, and that caused a big ruckus. But that was the old style NBA when people used to actually post up, and it doesn't look like that anymore. Like San Antonio, if you saw that game, Victor never really posts up. He plays around on the outside, and then when he wants to go inside it, he has to kind of dribble the ball and just use his arms to get to the basket. But nobody's actually taught him how to post up. I wonder how good he'd be if he knew that. If he played that game like a Kareem used to obviously post up, and he had the inside shots. Anyway, I like going back in time and looking how basketball's just changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're all trying to get threes now.
Yeah. Do you watch basketball though? You guess you bet on basketball. You put down a bet on the Thunder.
Yeah, I made a mistake of opening a Kalshi account. So I used to play tennis in the Ontario Tennis Association. Live tennis is the best if you want to get involved in that, because each point that changes. You want to look for a player that's down, that's going at like 10%, that has a chance to come back. They have to win a certain amount of sets. Most of the time, 2 sets. In the majors, the men got to win 3. There's no clock, right? So they can come back. So you look for quality players that can come back. So yesterday I put Oklahoma City got down to maybe like 38% chance to win, and so I started watching the NBA playoffs this year, and I'm always like, well, game 7, they did better during the season. They have the better record. They have home court advantage. They're going to win. So I've lost with Oklahoma City. I've lost with the Boston Celtics. And then I lost with Detroit.
Oh.
So I was like, well, game 7, home team, they should do it, right? No, it hasn't worked out that way. So, but I mean, a lot of hockey players will go on and diss basketball players because all hockey players think we're the greatest athletes, and maybe we are, maybe we aren't. But I'm so impressed with how big these guys are and how fast they can move. I mean, that's one thing to be really big, but to be fast and quick and 7 feet tall is ridiculous. So I definitely appreciate the talent and skill level it takes to play in the NBA. Trying to figure out that over under, that's wicked, man. I mean, it can I'm going to bet the over, and then all of a sudden they go down this court and then they miss 3 threes, and then that could have been 9 points, and then your ticket's wiped out. So I think I'm just going to kind of stick to tennis, but yeah, I thought Oklahoma City was going to do it, but
me too.
A lot I know.
Tennis. So who do you like in the French Open?
Well, Sinner lost, and I was talking about that with my wife. I'm like, and some people lost a lot of money. Say, this guy's unbeatable. This team's unbeatable. He can't be beat. She can't be beat. It happens all the time. I got $10 on Rafael Jodar.
Oh yeah, he's the Spanish sensation that's going to replace Nadal, right?
Yeah, I mean Zverev is the favorite to win. Alexander Zverev. He actually hasn't won a major, and with Sinner and Alcaraz out, this is his only chance. So if you put a gun to my head, I would choose him.
What about Novak?
I put some money on the young gun.
No, you don't give Novak a chance?
He's out.
Is he out?
I bet against him. I was watching him play Fonseca, the Fonz, and he won the first 2 sets.
He lost to Fonseca.
Yeah. I knew it was going to happen because I was watching it, and I was like, he's got to win 3 sets.
I missed that.
Hot there right now, and he's 38 years old playing a 24-year-old kid. And then as soon as Fonseca won set 3, it was giving him a battle in set 4. I'm like, if he wins this set 4 and takes us to 5 sets, he's going to beat the Joker. So I wanted to put money on that.
He was ahead. And then I turned it off. I just figured, okay, he's going to win this.
Because
this was his big chance because Alcaraz and Sinner were gone.
Yeah.
But this really opens it up to people like Zverev, and trying to think of who else. I mean, it's just wide open at this point. Right?
Casper Ruud or Casper Ruud, he's got a good chance. Rafael Jodar.
You know your tennis. This guy knows his tennis. I love it.
I do. I've been watching. I got into it about 6 months ago. It's like 6 months and $3,000 later. Now I've kind of figured out how to how to bet it. And you really, even in basketball, if they have a half left, try and get stuff at 10 cents on the dollar. But the thing about Kalshi too is you don't even have to pick a winner. You can trade the momentum. So I've seen some basketball teams go down to 7% chance. They get hot and they turn it into a 20% chance to win, and then you've doubled your ticket. But I mean, I'm smart enough to know not to lose my soul in this. But I mean, for younger kids, the fact that Kalshi and Poly Market and all these, DraftKings that you can see on, there's a huge sports gambling problem in America that people probably aren't talking about. So I mean, and especially young men are impressionable to that. And in the long run, very, very, very few win. I bet a couple bucks a game now. I've kind of learned it's even putting $2 on a game makes it a lot more fun. I mean, you don't have to put $20, $100, $1,000. Just start off with $2. But I mean, as far as the women, Mira Andreeva has got a shot. Marta Kostyuk, she just beat Swiatek.
Right? Oh, Coco Gauff is gone.
Yeah, she got beat by Potapova. She went down to like a 10% chance. I put $5 on her, and then I sold her at a 50% chance. And then I'm like, why didn't I hold some of it? She won. So Potapova is really good. Marta Kostyuk, if I had to bet a dark horse, in fact, after this, I might put $2 on her to win the French Open.
This guy's really addicted to it because he knows the names of all of these East German and or Russian women. I mean, nobody can remember these names except that they all end in Ova.
Yeah, if you know all the tennis names, you probably have a little bit of a problem. So
yeah, you're really messed up. You're way too into it.
Yeah, you're not a degenerate gambler if you can afford to lose. So just remember that.
Is Sabalenka still in it?
She's still in it. She's got a chance to win, but she is one of those girls that can get. You think they're number one in the world. Their record is 64-6.
She's
they
emotional.
Can't lose. They can lose. Definitely.
She's emotional. Very. She'll lose it, and you don't know where that's going to take her.
And she can crush the ball, and she doesn't. She has no for a girl. She has no finesse. Like she's just hitting the ball as hard as she can. Either she's on or she's not. And if she gets off her game, she can be beat.
Yeah. We have a little bit of time. We can talk some baseball. What about baseball? Do you like baseball? You got a favorite team?
So I look for the Dodgers. And the Dodgers only. And if I see that they get down, they got to get down a couple runs in the first few innings. And if they drop to like 25% chance, then I'll put $5 on them. That's usually a pretty good bet. But their bats are either extremely hot or extremely cold. Either they're going to hit 10 runs or nothing.
Yeah,
that's what I.
Well.
Yes, sir.
We're Pirates fans here. At least some of us are. The Dorothy's a hope. Yeah, but the Pirates
did last night from Mississippi.
Yeah, Jake Mangum.
Yeah,
he had a great game.
Well, combined, him and Griffin went 5 for 9. And Jake hit a home run.
I saw that. His first home run. We got a walk-off here from the game before. I'll show you here. This is Brian Burt Reynolds. He looks a little like Burt Reynolds with his mustache, and he's the best hitter.
Yeah, Buckethead.
Yeah. Dorothy likes the Tigers. Their record in the last 20 games is the worst in the major leagues. I just saw that.
They're horrible. They're so bad. And
just slightly worse than the Angels.
Yes,
my youngest son from Mississippi is here. He spent 2 weeks with us, but he is a college baseball nut. So all I did yesterday was watch college baseball. Regionals.
I saw
and
that.
I am wore out on baseball.
Who won that game between North Carolina State and Auburn? That was like 17-15.
Auburn won that game.
Oh God, that was so much hitting in that game. It was never ending.
Hey, UCLA was unbelievable. Yesterday.
Well, they had to win.
They
right?
pulled it out.
What was the score in that game?
My memory ain't.
Well,
I need some Prevagen. I don't remember. Hold on, let me look it up.
It's not that important, but UCLA does have. Is that the team that was like 40-10 or something? Or
they've got the number 1 prospect in the country. This shortstop. He's got a really long ski name, but he's good. I mean, that kid can play.
And can you bet on college sports too? on these things?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you can bet on college football, so I bet you can bet on.
Well, you probably gave him some ideas. I think, Mark, you should look at UCLA because they're kind of like the Dodgers. They're a real powerhouse, and so if they get down, then there's an opportunity to game the system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to look for the odds to go down. What happens to the odds makers? It is your only chance. And I've researched this with AI and gone over, if you're just trying to pick winners, I mean, with the spread and the VIG and all that, you're going to get annihilated. So it's just set up for you to lose. Sports gambling is set up for people to lose. But that's the thing why I like about tennis. Now, or baseball, you want the team, like the team gets up 3 or 4 runs and the odds are going to go down, say on the Dodgers or any team, they might now have a 20% chance to win. But if they have that many innings and they have hot bats, to me, okay, maybe they still have a 40% chance to win. So you're looking for those potential mispricings, and the mispricings are going to be on the teams or the players that have been written off that they think they're going to lose. Basketball is a little better because it's hard to score runs in baseball. It's in hockey, it's hard to beat the goalie. Not to say it isn't hard to score basketball shots, but it's just easier and there's more momentum. So you're looking for those momentum swings, and you can find that, finding quality teams that are down early in the game that are going off at 20% chance to win. So if you say you just put $5 on one of them at 20% chance, I'm a CPA too. So there'd be 5 games. You want to win one of them. So if you can win 1 out of 4, out of 5 games, you would be a winner. So that's how you should kind of look at it. Sometimes in baseball, even the Dodgers, I've seen they get down 3-0 and they don't score a run. I mean, it's very easy for a team to not score a run in baseball. It's virtually impossible for a team in basketball to not score any baskets, although ask the Boston Celtics that in Game 7 trying to hit threes. I was making these memes and stuff of like they're going back to like junior high school or junior middle school, like how to shoot baskets. God, they were terrible.
Hey, we ain't got that much long left, and what I want to do is basically announce that my oldest grandson has been officially accepted to the Air Force Academy, and his life is about to change.
Wow.
He will be going to the Air Force Academy on June the 21st, and he's going to have a reality check like he ain't never seen before. God bless him.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
You
proud
gonna
of
fly?
that.
You gonna fly? Is he gonna take a plane?
Man, he took physics in high school. When I went to college, I told the people, my counselor, he said, what don't you want to take? And I said, I don't want to take any science or any arithmetic or math. And he said, I got the curriculum for you. And I said, well, that's why I'm here. He said, you need to take college algebra for high school students. That's the only math I took in 4 years. And then in science, I only had to take 6 hours. And I'll be darned if I wasn't a medical rep for 35 years. So that tells you don't have to. America is wonderful. You can be the dumbest son of a gun you can possibly be and still make it in this world if you're willing to work hard.
I gotta love America. Gotta love America. You just never know where you're gonna end up. You
don't.
You have no idea. You just stick your hand in the box, and whatever you pull out, that's what you're gonna be.
And you might
grind it out.
And you might just end up being a folk hero in Toledo, Ohio. Like
that's it.
You just never know.
How did that happen? That Toledo, Ohio, became a hotbed for hockey? I don't know.
Well, I promise you, Mark's dad didn't say, "I want you to grow up and be the Diesel." Or maybe he did, Mark. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as I was scoring some goals and making, and the thing is, I mean, with parents like that now, when they get older, like they don't even really remember. And I know you coach baseball or tennis. It doesn't matter what sport it is. You're going to have crazy parents that are living through their kids, and they just don't realize how much psychological damage they're doing. It's like it's generational abuse being passed on. And I'd just be like, hello, McFly, do you see what's going on here? And because of that, I was fired and discarded. I mean, they don't want people like me telling the truth. So,
well, and that's exactly what I coached a football team years and years ago, and we didn't lose a game for 3 years. And it wasn't because of me, because I had good players, and that's what coaching is. But if you don't put the player in and start them in a certain position that parent wants, like quarterback, all the parents want their kids to play quarterback. It doesn't make any difference if that kid's got thunder ankles. I mean, he ain't going nowhere.
Right.
But you know, that's I learned a long time ago from a coach that you look at a player's ankles and his feet, and you can pretty much project where he's going to play 6 or 7 years from now. But you know, you try to pay attention to the kid.
Sorry. What was the name of that book?
Well,
The Long Car Ride Home.
Time to pull the plug on the show.
All right. Yeah. Look, this was a great show. We got to hear a lot from our guests and learn a lot. And I hope everybody felt like they could participate. And it was nice having a big full house here.
Yeah.
So, in closing, Mark,
Mark,
in closing, and you're welcome back on the show anytime, by the way. What do you think about the hockey, the Stanley Cup final and the NBA final? I want some predictions.
Well, I think Las Vegas is going to win because Mitch Marner left the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs are cursed, and usually when a top player from Toronto leaves, they go to a team, and within 3 years, they win the Stanley Cup. I thought Colorado was going to take it, so I didn't put anything on Vegas, and Vegas just beat them 4 straight. So they've got the Kavorka. I think Vegas is going to win it because I've lost so much money betting against the San Antonio Spurs. They're going to do it, so I'm going to bet on Wembanyama now. That's what I think is going to happen.
I got the Knicks in Vegas.
The Knicks. Oh my God! Really?
New York needs to shut up and do something.
Yeah, my recommendation for the Knicks is to just put a body on Wemby and just push him as far away from the basket as possible. And just,
a body check.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. San Antonio to me just has too much raw talent and physical advantages in terms of just sheer numbers. I like this to be a 6-game series, but in hockey, Hurricane are actually that's a good team. So I think that'll probably go 7, and yeah, let's just say Vegas and 7. But the biggest question to me is which finals will end first, because the NBA usually always ends after hockey, but once in a while hockey ends first. That would be an interesting bet.
Yeah, it would be.
I'm a degenerate in my own way, so I should have coffee with you and pick your brain about good things to bet on.
Yeah, if you ever want to talk tennis or anything like that, I mean, I'm a CPA and I put all this into Excel and try and analyze all this stuff and try and find patterns. And if I come up with something, I'll let you know. But as far as I'm concerned, sports is chaos.
Okay. Well, we're loved having you on the show. It was a great show. We're going to end with a kind of, I thought it was a kind of cool clip of Laurel and Hardy dancing to Creedence Clearwater Revival. And
my band.
Yeah. Take a run through the jungle, baby.
Oh, I love that. That's what I listen to that one a lot.
All right. All right. Well, we'll see you next week, and everybody have a great week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.